Welcome to the Informed Minority, where we break down the markets using ICT concepts. Today, I'll be breaking down the trade I took this week. If you're ready to level up your trading game, you're in the right place. Let's dive into the video. So today we're going to be going over the trade that I took Thursday, January 23rd, 2025, the MNQ long. This is what the trade looks like. I know some things we'll get into today that kind of help flesh out what would have been the better trade, which again would have been over here. But we're going to talk about the trade that I took on Thursday. And I actually was streaming this live, so now I have started live streaming. So if you want to check me out, I'm live every Monday through Friday from 9:10 a.m. EST to roughly around 11 o'clock is when I'm looking to get off. This was my weekly game plan, so I know what to do each and every week. I know what days I wanted to trade and what days I'm looking to avoid. This was the framework for this week. We had a bank holiday on Monday. Tuesday was the day after bank holiday. I'm not really interested in that. Wednesday had very low expectations. Thursday I was looking for opportunity and also looking for opportunity on Friday. Something that was not on the economic calendar when I had checked earlier on in the week, which was that we had President Trump speaking at 11 a.m. on Thursday. So the new updated way I would look at this week in terms of how I would want to be trading would be trading after President Trump speaks. So it would be post 11 a.m. on Thursday. I'd be looking to trade Friday, which is today, after the 9:45 news. We have flash manufacturing PMI. As I always do, I look for the higher time frame and I work my way down to look for key levels or anything that would be of significance for me. On the daily chart, we had this. Am I tripping? No, I'm not tripping. On the daily chart, we had this daily inverse value gap that we came down to and tapped. I expected to see the upper portion be held. Also, if you look, we have this hourly fair value gap here. And so we're looking for price to hold that and ultimately trade higher to this daily volume balance here and to take out this high as well as this high. We always need a framework to set it up, and the framework for this trade was the new week opening gap from December 8th, 2024. This was the area that we're looking for to trade off of, and ultimately I was looking at these highs only, but this could also be a direction. But as you can see, we had a lot of upside targets in terms of new week opening gaps, new day opening gaps above us from where we were to where we could start to target those areas. Also, something that I go through that really helps me with understanding direction and looking for key signatures, it would be the SMT that we see here. So we had SMT here and also there, but it helped me frame an idea and understand that we could potentially be looking for higher prices. Also, we had the first presented fair value gaps. I like to note these because I think they're important. This was the one from Thursday, and this was the one from Wednesday, the day before. Those two had very key components, but also this one up here, the Thursday, December 26, 2024 at 9:48. That was pretty much where the highs were layered. So we had layered highs there, and then we also had this first presented fair value gap, which was a target for me. So we'll get into the breakdown for how I go from the higher time frame down to the lower time frame. I'm not going to start on the 4-hour chart, but that's essentially where this level came from. If you look at it, there is an inverse fair value gap that we had traded above and coming back down into. So I was expecting the upper portion to be held. We also had a 1-hour fair value gap. And so we see the bodies being held here, and we see that we also have SMT inside of this with an expectation that price should be trading higher. So this was the order block that I was looking at for us to be traded above. And when it came back down, that's essentially what I was looking for, price to expand up and trade here. To the 5-minute chart, so what was I looking for the 5-minute chart? This was a breaker. We had expanded above here. This would have been the immediate rebalance that I was expecting. And as you see here, this is the price action we were getting, but I'll get into that a little bit later. If we go down to the 1-minute chart, this is what it looked like for me as I was entering. So we had respect from the level that we were expecting to see. We had SMT. We came and traded down into this order block and had moved away, created a fair value gap a little bit later than I would want to see, but it was still inside, still before 9:40. So that gave me the idea that, okay, now we have this high here and we just traded above and created a fair value gap. So I was looking to enter here and my stop loss was pretty much 16 points away. I was looking for the objectives that I had showed you before. But what I did not notice is that we had Trump speaking at 11 until after I was stopped out. So here are the lunch macros. This is what I like to do every day. I like to trade during specific times of day. Where I was looking to enter was a little bit before the macro, but I was expecting it to spool and trade a little bit higher. I like to trade around them. You see all of the turning points are basically near a macro time, so that's why I like to frame my setups around them. Or if I see signatures right before, I'm expecting it to then start to spool in a direction. This is the trade. Again, I like to always end my videos with what can I do better and what did I do well. I also think for this specific trade, I should give some of the stats so you guys can see what was going on in my mind during this trade. And all of this is on the live stream from Thursday, so you can go back in there and watch it if you want to see what I was actually thinking real time. The time that I was in the trade was 15 minutes, and majority of the time I was in drawdowns. I could tell something was up and something was wrong when majority of the time I pretty much felt like I was in drawdown and it wasn't expanding. That was the first thing that I realized based off of the statistics or metrics that I have. The handles in drawdown, it stopped me out, so it was 16.75 handles. And the maximum amount that it went, which would be up to this high, which was 11.5 handles. It's pretty much as high as it went. So what are things that I could improve on this week specifically for this trade? It would have been to check the economic calendar each and every day. I know that before speakers, this is the type of price action that you could be getting. And so the trade setup that I ended up walking through while I was live, but I didn't take, would have been here and targeting this buy side liquidity. That's all I was looking for. And I would have been done before that. 50 handles was somewhere like right here. So I didn't even need to go all the way up there. But that's what I could have improved on this trade, was just knowing that Trump was speaking. So it would have told me to wait until after 11 o'clock. Notice how after 11 o'clock, it's allowed to move. So that's what I could have improved on in this trade. And now I have in my process that I check that every single day. What did I do well? I was patient and I knew what I was looking for. So when this fair value gap was being created, I was able to frame the setup. I also was able to identify key areas where we would expect price to move from. And they in fact moved from there. So I'm not upset about this. It's just a lesson that I've learned for this week. And I'd rather learn it now than later on. And so I'm very happy with my progress, everything that I've been able to accomplish thus far in the last, I'll say 3 or 4 months. It's been an amazing journey. I'm very proud of myself for that. Thanks for tuning into the Informed Minority. If you enjoyed today's breakdown, don't forget to comment and subscribe. How did you do this week? I want to know if you avoided the Trump fest, or were you in there before or after? Just let me know. I also want to let you guys know that your support means the world to me. I really appreciate it, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next video. Peace.